Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back, students. It's another day, a new day, but it is the last of our unit. We have unit 1. We have reached the end of our unit here. So before we move on, I would like to just revise what we took in the form, meaning, and function lesson that we had the last time. We discussed the present simple. We also discussed the present progressive. We did mention something about the stative and non-stative verbs and how they are connected with the present simple and present progressive. We also mentioned something about, or before we go on, let's just do the exercise since we have the first part, which is about the present simple and the present progressive. So we have on page number 16 here, the homework. Now the homework, you were asked just to use the present simple or the present progressive. Of course, we have here the words that are the verbs are going to help you in the parenthesis. So let's see the first one. Of course, we have here the discussion is between Fahad and Badr. Now Fahad asks, hi Badr, how are you? How are things, in New York? Badr says, to tell you the truth, Fahad, not so good. Now I'm reading for you so you can just catch on and guess what is the verb if you have not done it before. To tell you the truth, Fahad, not so good. It's my flatmate, Adnan. So do you remember Fahad and Adnan from the conversation? We have the conversation now between Badr and his brother. I was really excited about us sharing a flat, but he not do any chores. So I'm talking about something that happens all the time. He not do. So I can say here that he does not or doesn't want to do any chores. Of course, we have here the question. One bathroom be spotless because. One bathroom be spotless. Now here, what can I say? I can say is spotless, which is present simple. We have here, it is spotless because I clean it, but the other one is very dirty. Now this bathroom is clean. It is spotless because what do you write here? We have here, we can say I clean. So actually it doesn't change. But the other one is very dirty. The rest of the apartment is very untidy. He blank, always blank. And we have here leave. Now remember, when can we use always? Do you remember when I said that I can use these adverbs with which tense? So we can say he is always. So since we have here is, it's going to be leaving. His dirty dishes around the flat. I constantly blank clean up. So also an adverb here, which means that I can use, we have here, I am constantly cleaning up. We agree to take it in turns to do the laundry, but he is always busy. I do the laundry every week, also about the cooking and so on. So we have here, I do the laundry every week. Now every week means that we have here the present simple, so it doesn't change. I do the laundry every week. Now this was the first exercise. Moving on to the second topic that we studied or talked about, which is words that are connected to museums and galleries. Also, we have here, these are the words that we discussed in our last lesson, just to remind you. And we have the exercise, which is on page number 17. Now going back to the exercise here in the book, look at the information about the National Museum of Saudi Arabia. Write sentences using the prompts. Use the present simple tense. So here they are asking us to use the present simple using the prompts that we have in the book. Now we have your visiting times for families. Now you can see that we have here the address. We have prices. Now there are different prices we have here. And we have opening hours. Now there are different opening hours if they are men, women, or schools. Also the prices. Note that we have something free. For whom is the free price or for example, the fee, the 10 riyals, who is it for? Now, visiting times for families. We are focusing on visiting times for families. So we can say visiting times for families are Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3:30 in the afternoon until 9:30 in the evening. Now, the main structure here in the sentence is the present simple. Visiting times for women, this time we have here, women can visit the museum. Note that I wrote women can visit the museum on Tuesday mornings from 9 until 3 p.m. Also present simple. Moving on. Number 3, visiting times for school groups. We can say that we have here the museum is open for school groups from Sunday through Thursday. Number 4, ticket cost for students. We have here, we can say the museum is free. So when I noted that you have to pay attention, the 10 riyals fee is for whom? And it is free for other people. So we have here the answer, it is free for students. The ticket cost for adults, we have here a ticket for an adult costs with an S, present simple, 10 Saudi riyals. And we have here exhibits and attractions. The museum exhibits historical manuscripts. So you can see in all these sentences we use the present simple. The last part that we had in our lesson, in expressing enthusiasm with intensifiers and adjectives, and when can we use these adjectives. Now we have here a new task. The task here is to make some notes about your favorite museum or gallery. Work with a partner and using your notes, tell your partner about it. Use the present simple tense, intensifiers and adjectives. So you are going to put the all-in-one content together. Now, as I mentioned before, we have our last lesson in our unit. We have the project of Unit 1, 2 is better than 1. Now, before we start with the project, just to remind you, the project in each unit relates to the unit's main topic. It is an activity in which you cooperate to perform a directed task. So don't forget that we are talking about teamwork and we are going to do something that is related to teamwork. As examples, you may make a brochure or design a presentation. You may interview people and report back to do research and so on. Mainly the project requires to use all the language you may acquired. So it is a good idea to use the vocabulary that you have learned throughout the unit and also use the structures just to practice. Okay, so we have here the idea, it is open for you. You can use it as a brochure, do the project as kind of research or just interview people. It's up to you and it depends on how you approach it. So we have here the topic 2 is better than 1. As we said that we are going to talk about teamwork, our objectives are to name teams whose members share a symbiotic relationship. So still we are connecting all the ideas that we studied. Design a presentation about a team's relationship. Apply structure forms, vocabulary, phrases that have been learned throughout the unit. Now find out how members of a certain team in your country share a symbiotic relationship and depend on each other to reach a shared goal. So here, this is your starting point here, to think together as a group. Now you are going to just divide the tasks between you, but before you are going to think together and agree on a specific team. Now, not any kind of team. This team, it has to have a symbiotic relationship between them. Now, let's say, for example, a football team or any other type of team. Let's say, for example, surgery teams that work in hospitals. There has to be some kind of benefit between them. If a team wins, for example, in any kind of sport, this means that all of them win together. If the operation in a hospital also succeeds, the success is for all the member teams together. Now you can think about any type of team. any kind that we mentioned before in the first lessons, or you can think about something that we have not mentioned. So they depend on each other to reach a shared goal. Note that some people offer a service and have clients pay for that service. For example, a store owner and a customer. This is not a symbiotic relationship. So you cannot join any two parts together and say that they have this kind of relationship because, for example, a buyer who is in a store is different. He just buys, he benefits, the customer comes and, he sells actually, and the customer buys what the product is or the object that he wants to buy. But at the very end, each one goes in his or her separate ways, so there is no symbiotic relationship. A symbiotic relationship, just to remind you, is when two or more individuals depend on each other. So do you remember when we talked about animals, we said we have the ostrich and the zebra, the anemone and the clownfish. They were two pairs, but actually more members can be added within the team. So there are teams in sports, business, medicine, and so on. It depends on you actually to decide together what type of team that you want to talk about and how you are going to present this team. It is an obligate relationship, meaning both partners really rely entirely on each other for benefits. So we mentioned that there is something that they benefit from each other or they benefit together at the end. Now, when you agree on what the topic is that you are going to talk about, write the information in the chart and use it to make a PowerPoint presentation for your class. So it doesn't have to be a PowerPoint presentation. You can use any other type of presentation you would like. You can present your presentation, as we said, in many different ways. But you are going to use the chart. Now, what do we have in the chart? So you can outline what are the steps or the details that you are going to present. First of all, you are going to agree on a team or a group and write it. Then what is the field? Is it business? It may be sports, education, family, and so on. It may be something in industry. It may be something that concerns any type of scientific field. So it's up to you and what you are interested in together. Members of the team or the group. Now, when you agree on the team, you have to mention who are the members. Are they just two? Are they more than two? So we have to mention the members that we have here. The role or contribution of each member. Now, each member of the group, now when I said, for example, surgery, there are doctors, there are nurses, there are different types of doctors that we have that are within the surgery. Now, some of them specialize in something that is different. So which means that I have to write each member and what does he or she contribute in, or what are their roles. Benefit for other members of the team. So I said that we want here a symbiotic relationship. So you have to remember or recall, just as points here in the chart, what are the benefits that each member gets from the other member. So we have here, this is the main chart that you are going to use. Now we have questions that you must answer or you must search within the project. We have here, who are they? Who are the members that you are talking about? What do they do exactly? Now, these are detailed questions that are connected to the chart that I just told you about. How is the team or the group formed? What kind of roles, tasks need to be catered for? So there must be different roles or tasks. And at the end, what kind of skills are necessary? So these skills, of course, are different depending on what is the type of team that you have. Now moving on, we have more questions. How do different team or group members contribute to the performance of the team or group? So what is the role for each member? We have also, are they popular? Why or why not? So you can choose a popular team, or it may be something that is smaller, but you do have to explain why did you choose this team. How much do people know about them? So if they are not popular, this means that you have to explain how much do people know about them and why did you choose them. What are they likely to want to know? So something also interesting here that you must add within your project, that this team, what do people want to know about them? So you want to present them in a very interesting way. Now think about yourselves. Actually, when you are working in a project, the first thing that you have to do is to think about yourselves, that you are also working in a symbiotic relationship here, or you are working within a symbiotic team. So we have here, consider the way you function as a group or a team. Analyze your different individual roles and how your contribution affects the group's performance. So what do I mean? If we have a team here that we are working together, if some of the members are not working, this affects on the other members, which means that your project will not be as successful as if all of you work together. So it is important to know that you are working within a symbiotic team here, and how each one of your members, you affect each other, and that you must be cooperative with the other parts or the other members, and presenting what you have to do for the benefit for the whole team. Now, just to think about it, in the world, a lot of people, they are working in different places and they are working in different teams. Now you can think about lots of things. Now we have here a hadith. وعن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: المسلم أخو المسلم لا يظلمه ولا يسلمه، من كان في حاجة أخيه كان الله في حاجته، ومن فرج عن مسلم كربة فرج الله عنه بها كربة من كرب يوم القيامة، ومن ستر مسلما ستر الله يوم القيامة. Here, this is something very valuable to remember, that we cooperate with each other and we are a very big team that we work with every day and we benefit from every day, and we learn lessons from this hadith, that it is very important that you work daily with the people. Even if it is not working, you are responding to them, you are giving, you are taking, which is a kind of symbiotic team that we have. Now, we come to the end of our unit. What did we learn? Actually, we learned different things here. We had the listen and discuss and the peer work. We talked about teams and famous team couples. We had the vocabulary check. The grammar, we studied the emphatic do. We studied all the structure, other, others, and another. We had the conversation, which was about negotiating and the real talk. We had the listening and pronunciation about Dr. Abdullah Rabi'a and how to pronounce the letter R. We had also vocabulary building. We studied new words. And after that, we had the reading. And we also practiced speaking within animal partners or symbiotic relationships. We also had our writing lessons, which are about the descriptive essay using a Venn diagram. We had the form, meaning, and function, the lesson that we studied, the present simple, progressive, state of verbs. We had words connected to museums and galleries, intensifiers and adjectives. And at the very end, we had our project, which was about different teams that you are going to choose. Now, how do you feel about these lessons? Now it is your turn. We have here the self-reflection. The self-reflection is going to be the last part that we have here in our unit. Now, the self-reflection comes from the word reflect, like when you are looking in a mirror and you are seeing yourself. So you are going to see how did you progress or benefit from these lessons. How did these lessons actually reflect on you? What did you understand? What did you add to your vocabulary building, and so on. So we have here just to imagine that you are looking to yourself and either you are satisfied with what you see or you need to improve a little bit more. So how do I do it? We have here in the book, you have here, of course, the objectives. We have the objectives to practice speaking skills in class because you are going to discuss together all the details that you took in the book. Assess performance based on indicators and track learning progress. So we have in the book the self-reflection, we have the table. Now the table is divided into 4 parts. We have the first part, things that I liked about Unit 1. What did you like? What are the things that you found interesting? It may be one of the topics, maybe something that you read. Things that I didn't like very much. So it may be that some things you did not approve. It is a chance to discuss together as a group in class or as a team and just write note out in your book, what are the things that you did not like? Things that I found easy in Unit 1. Now, some of the structures, maybe some of the words, you found them easy, and the opposite, things that I found difficult in Unit 1. You can also just note what are the things that you found difficult, and your classmates may help you, or you can improve yourself throughout just revising and the exercises that you have in the workbook. Another table that we have. Now the table here is quite easy. We have here the Unit 1 checklist. We have 3 columns. We have the first one, I can do this very well. I can do this quite well. And we have, I need to study or practice more. So we have the first one, for example, talk about famous marriages in history or famous teams. Now, how do you evaluate yourself? What do you find? You can say, for example, that I can do this very well. You can choose any other column based on what you feel. Discuss how people, animals can help each other. Now, also here, is it easy? Negotiate. Now here you can evaluate yourself. For example, I can do this quite well. So I showed you here as an example to show that there are differences. Maybe something you approve of more than the other. Use others, and another as a structure. Use emphatic do, so which means that you are great in grammar. Use the simple present for future timetables or schedules. Use the present progressive. Talk about museums and galleries. So here I evaluated myself. You can, or you may have other points of view. And we have the last one, to express enthusiasm using intensifiers and adjectives. This one I feel that I need to study or practice more. So it depends on each student differently. They are not the same, or you are not the same. Here you can see that we have here the main points of the unit, and you just evaluate yourself together with your group, and you can see here what are the things that you need to work on more. The last part in the self-reflection is to write my favorite words from Unit 1. You can choose from the vocabulary or maybe something that you learned from the reading or the discussion. So there are many words that we have in the unit. You can choose 5 words that you remember. And the very end, if you're still not sure about something from Unit 1, read through the unit again. These are some solutions. Listen to the audio material, study the grammar and functions from the unit again, and ask your teacher for help. I am here to help you. Your teachers also, they are in your school to help you. Now here, we have reached together the end. There are things just to revise. You can just self-reflect and see what are the points that you need to go back and revise again. Now I'm sure that you are doing your best. We have finished and reached the end of Unit 1. Our outline, first of all, we have planning a project. We did some brainstorming, researching and discussing different teams, connect ideas and main points, form a symbiotic team by distributing roles, and then we had the part which is the self-reflection part. Here we think back, evaluate on the topics, tasks, and language presented and practice in the unit. We have completed our unit. Next week, inshallah, we are going to start with another interesting unit, which is influential people, so be ready.